So, did I get a haircut? Yes. Do I hate it? Also, yes. Hence the bear hat. This is just something that I do. I call it the curse that follows me every few years, where I need to chop all of my hair off. And when I say need, I mean like I am feral about it. Like it has to happen. And I went from hair all the way down to like right above my belly button. So big change. If you see my videos from before, it was still short, but it was a little bit longer. That was the post me cut. That was the post me cutting it in the bathroom with a pair of scissors, with only candlelight to accompany me. And it looked fine. It was okay. But I had my sister's wedding to go to, so I had to get it trimmed up a little bit, and I was not happy with how she trimmed it up. So we're breaking out the hats, and it's okay. We're leaning into the process, and that brings me to my title, which is Lean into the Process of Becoming. Enjoy the process of becoming, because that can be a very hard thing to do. For those of you that don't know, I've been traveling cross country for the past, I've literally like lost all sense of time. I think that this is the 9th month that we've been traveling cross country. We are currently in California, and we made our way down here all the way from up tippy top of the East Coast in Maryland. We actually started in Maine, so that's tippy top of the East Coast. And yeah, I think that it's very easy to have expectations for how something will go, and then to be completely blindsided and to have it go a completely different way. And I think that, when you have an idea of traveling cross country, it's Instagram worthy posts, and it's YouTube vloggers that are out on the road with their dogs in a camper van and yada yada yada. You know how the story goes. That has not been what our experience has been like. And even just going back to my haircut, I had an expectation of what it was going to look like, and it was not what I was expecting whatsoever. And I think that a huge lesson for me in the past 9 months has been to sit down and be humbled, bitch. Because sometimes we really do need to sit down and be humbled. There's no way to control the outcome of any certain situation or any certain expectation that you have of how things will go. And you really just have to start leaning into the process of becoming and enjoying it and cherishing it and treasuring it. And it's easier said than done. Trust me. I, more than anyone, know that. I'm like, when do I take sips of my matcha and when do I talk? How do I do it without it looking super awkward? But we're coming up on our 9th month now. And when we first started traveling, I was like, yeah, like we're going to do this for like 2 years, and like we're going to take the time to just travel and have fun. And I had all these expectations of what it was going to look like. We were going to hit all the national parks. We were going to do other things. And this past month, when we got to California, I really needed to sit down and be like, girl, you cannot keep this up. You cannot keep doing this. It has been so beautiful and so amazing, but it also has been so hard because there's been so much movement. That was a preconceived idea that I had, where I was like, I have to move and do all these things and have all these experiences in order to be able to grow. And don't get me wrong, I have grown so much in the past 9 months, but I'm starting to remember the value in rooting somewhere and grounding somewhere and standing where your feet are planted and truly cherishing that environment in which you're in. And I haven't had that since we've been traveling. I think that another misconception that we have is that as young people, we have to go on these grand adventures and these grand journeys in order to come across some form of enlightenment or reaching this end goal, this epiphany in life. And we kind of lose sense of the fact that there is no end point. I always hear it's not the destination, it's the journey. And I'm like, the destination does not exist. Is the destination in the room with us right now? Because from what I've garnered over my 9 months of traveling and over my 27, sometimes I forget how old I am, my 27 years on this planet, there is no destination. It is just the journey. And there's this quote that I really like, and it says, "Life is a process of becoming, a combination of states we have to go through. Where people flounder is that they wish to elect a state and remain in it. This is a kind of death." And I definitely was feeling that when it came to traveling. I felt like I just had to keep traveling. I had to keep traveling, and I had to keep having these grand life experiences and these crazy epiphanies. And I lost a sense of purpose in just the tiny moments and how they have just as much to offer. I think that sometimes we forget about the value in the quote unquote little moments. And I think that they are more than just little moments. I think that the value in which you can find in making a cup of tea is equally as valuable as to scaling a mountain, reaching it to the summit, and looking at the landscape before you. I think that it's our concept of it that gets thwarted, and our concept of what is a valuable moment and what is not. And I started playing this video game the other day called Wander Stop. It's a cozy tea making video game, but it follows this protagonist that has this innate drive to find her purpose and to always be working towards something. And it isn't until she stumbles upon this little tea shop that she starts learning about the presence and the value in the slower, quote unquote, moments of life, and how they can be just as much valuable as her finding her purpose. And if anything, they can help lead her to whatever her purpose is, because she's actually slowing down and taking the time to be present versus just like tunnel vision going at it time and time again. There's a quote from the video game that I really liked, and it says, "What is there to lose by just spending a few easy minutes making tea?" And I really resonate with that. I think that it's so easy to just get in your head and feel like you always have to be doing something, and you have to be actively participating in the process of becoming. You have to be actively putting yourself out there. There's the saying in our generation of do it for the plot. And as much as I love do it for the plot, I did quit my 6-figure job and decide to travel across country full time with my 2 crazy ass fucking dogs. That would be considered as doing it for the plot. But I think that sometimes we just like get this idea in our head that like we have to constantly be doing these crazy things, and we have to constantly be searching for this sense of purpose and this sense of enlightenment. And we kind of forget that we're allowed to slow down, and we're allowed to take moments just to be. And just being, if anything, is one of the most important parts of the process of becoming. And I think I've really had that expectation on my shoulders of, okay, I have to be filming video diaries. I have to be writing my book. I have to be figuring out what my next career move is going to be. What is my purpose in this life? What am I supposed to bring forth to the world? And it almost became suffocating to myself. It was like analysis paralysis. It really just became something where I felt like I always had to be doing something, to the point that it inhibited me. And I almost on some days would do nothing because I had such an expectation of when I was doing the thing, it had to be perfect and it had to be pushing me towards some sense of purpose. And it wasn't until I started bringing that play and that curiosity into it that I was able to finally just breathe a little bit and genuinely enjoy my moments throughout the day. Because I think that bringing presence into it is one of the most important parts when it comes to the process of becoming and the process of finding whatever your purpose may be. And maybe your purpose is just being, bitch. Like, mic drop right there. That was a really big realization I came to one morning as well during one of my journaling sessions. I think that there are many roles that I will play in this life. I would love to be a writer. I would love to be a YouTuber. I would love to be a mother. I would love to be a wife. I would love to be a valued member of a community, there are so many purposes that I can find in my life. And it's when I just like fully focus and get tunnel vision on one that I almost lose sense of the fact that I'm a multifaceted human being and you are a multifaceted human being. And in order to lean into the process of becoming, you have to slow down, bitch. And there are definitely times for you to, you know, put pedal to the metal and really go for it and really do the crazy things, like me going on this it's going to be a year-long journey by the time we choose to settle down, of traveling cross country. But it's not necessary. It's not necessary for you to drop everything and go travel the country or travel the world for a year or 2 years. It's not necessary for you to do the big crazy things. What's necessary is for you to bring presence and stillness into your life and to truly enjoy the moments that are gifted to you in the day-to-day. And I think that I definitely found myself within the first 6 months of traveling, feeling like I just wanted to recommend to everybody to travel the country or to travel the world. And I wanted to tell all of my friends that were struggling, oh, have you heard of the WOOF program? Which is essentially a program where you can go get free board and free meals if you work for an organic sustainable farm. But they have them in Hawaii and the Philippines and Thailand and all of these beautiful, amazing countries. And I just that became my go-to advice, was just drop everything and travel. And I think that I kind of got tunnel vision on that. And I definitely leaned into the hustle culture that I was trying to get away from, honestly. But in the process of trying to get away from it, I just replaced it with something else, which was traveling and feeling like I had to be doing all of these big, crazy things in order to grow and in order to evolve. And I will say, again, it's still completely valid. And I wouldn't be the person that I am today if it weren't for the past 9 months of travel. And I wouldn't trade it for the world, because I've learned so much. But that is not everybody's path. And that might not be your path. I think that if anything, I've just learned since I've been traveling that I really need to grow a home within myself and find stillness and presence within myself and lean into the process of experiencing myself. I was about to say of figuring myself out, but there's no such thing as that. You're never going to figure yourself out. You're never going to figure life out. You're never going to figure out what the perfect purpose or game plan or path is going to be for you to walk upon. It truly is you just taking the time to experience yourself becoming and experience what life has to offer in those beautiful, amazing moments throughout the day of you going for a walk with your dog or going for a walk by yourself if you don't have a dog. In my head, automatically dogs are always involved. Having a cup of tea, making your morning coffee, having a good meal with friends, sharing time with family, gardening in your backyard, finding things that fill your cup and ignite your soul. And I will say, if you watch these videos and you're like, I want to travel cross country, or I want to travel the world, do it, bitch. Do it. Everybody has their own path. And like this said, there are a combination of states we have to go through, and that might be a state of your becoming. But don't try to force something just because other people are telling you that that's what you should be doing, or it looks glamorous on other people's YouTube channels or Instagram pages or TikTok pages. That's kind of how I felt when I went back home to my hometown to visit for my sister's wedding. Everybody was telling me I need to keep traveling. I need to take advantage of this time. They wish that they had done this when they were younger, and I'm going to regret it if I don't make the most out of my time. And I had to really listen to my own body, which was telling me, no. No. You need to sit the fuck down and you need to root somewhere. It's depleting your energy. And I think that there are some people that can travel full time for years on end. I'm not one of those people. I got what I needed out of the year that we'll have spent traveling. I wouldn't trade it for the world, but I'm so grateful for the duality in which I've learned of both the fast-paced moving and the slow-paced rooting somewhere and just truly, truly slowing down. And again, that's duality, because those are two very valid states, but I would be lying to myself if I just came on here and only talked about one, because I think that both are completely valid. And I think that one specifically, which is the traveling one, is a lot more pushed on today's culture of You got to do all the things. You got to have all the experiences. You got to put yourself out there. You got to push yourself. And again, if that is what your body is feeling called to right now, go for it. Literally do it. You know. I don't have to tell you. But if you are someone where you feel like slowing down is what's in the cards for you right now, and that is your current state of becoming that's calling forth to you, then go ahead and do that too. Just like find moments in your day where you can truly invite presence into your day-to-day routine. And that presence, that play, that curiosity, that can lead you to your quote-unquote purpose just as much as dropping everything and traveling cross country or across the world could. They're both completely valid, and they both lead us to the same, I was going to say destination, but there's no such thing as destination. They both lead us upon just as valid of a journey. And what's the point of the journey of life if it weren't for those little moments that you listen to your body and you see what's calling to you specifically? God, I'm literally sweating. It's hot as balls out here. I'm like in direct sunlight. Whoopsies. I had hit a point where I was like, I think that I'm done traveling. And then when we got back, I was like, no, JK, just kidding. Actually, we're going to keep traveling. I'm going to book like 4 months in advance all of these places and all of these national parks, which I went and I did. And we got to Lake Tahoe, which is where we currently are. And I just was so discombobulated, disoriented. My body was like not okay. I have 2 dogs, Moon and Mars, in which I travel with, and Moon has been a huge mirror for me in reflecting back. Hey girl, this is a lot. Like this traveling, this is a lot, not just on you, but on me as well. And so we got to Lake Tahoe, and she's like developed this aversion to traveling in cars. She doesn't like it anymore. And then when we get to a new house, she's very discombobulated. And I was just looking at her, and I was like, I feel like you are reflecting back to me the fact that like this is a lot on my body too. I can see it in you, and I can see myself in you in this moment. And I say that because I really do think that dogs are a reflection of our souls, and they are a mirror to us to reflect back the things that we may not see and that we may be ignoring or we may need to work through. Moon has been like a catalyst in my growth, like genuinely shitting, crying, throwing up these past 3 to 4 months when it comes to her behavior, what it's reflecting back in me. And none of this would have happened if we hadn't started traveling, because I do think that the traveling is starting to get to her, and it's just showing me that it's starting to get to me as well too. And again, I had this expectation of what traveling was going to look like, and I really had to sit down and be humbled and be like, okay, I can lean into this. I don't have to control this. I don't have to keep traveling because everyone around me is telling me to take advantage of the time that you have to travel. I can really just lean into and soak into the energy of becoming, because I don't know where any of this is going to lead us. And that is a very scary thing. But I think that sometimes you have to surrender to that unknown, and sometimes you have to surrender to the fact of, girl, I have no fucking idea. A wasp just flew by my head. I am deathly allergic to wasps. Anyway, that was a little side note tangent in case you see me scoping the area around me like a feral little animal while I'm out here. I'm on wasp alert. But yeah, so I think that right now I'm just really letting go of all of the expectations that I had. And even in getting my hair cut really wonkily, I think that that too has been a big moment for me to be like, lean into it. Have fun with it. Bring play into it. I've been saying this so much lately. I think that sometimes it is so easy to want to know all of the answers and to want to have a clear path ahead of you that you just become so focused. You almost get tunnel vision on figuring it out, and you forget to play. And I think that play and curiosity are the 2 main secret ingredients to quote unquote figuring it out, because I think that it's through play and curiosity that we actually start to tap into whatever that potential is that exists for us out there. And I think that when we're too focused on what am I going to do? How am I going to do it? What is my next career move going to be? That's a big question that I've been having for myself recently after quitting my 6-figure job to travel cross country full time. And I think that in doing that, we almost like suffocate the energy because we're so obsessed with trying to control it and trying to make sense of it and trying to dissect it and figure it out and look at it like it's this little thing that can be observed under a microscope when it's not. And I think that when we invite that play and that curiosity into it, we allow it the space to breathe and the space to unfold around us. And I think that that has been something that I've really been trying to focus on, not just with myself, but with Moon too, as well, with my dog Moon. I think that she's been really anxious since we've been traveling, and I've been really anxious because she's really anxious because I have a codependent relationship on my dogs. And it's just like this toxic cycle. And I think that it's through play with her and with myself and tapping into that inner child like wisdom and curiosity that we've both been able to begin the process of healing and begin the process of finding a place to just root for a little bit. I love the word root. Like I just want to go somewhere and just like send all of my roots down to the earth and just really take a breath and like release this energy of expectation of we have to keep traveling and we have to keep doing all the things and seeing all the things and having these huge life moments and life experiences and these catalysts for growth. And it's like, girl, yeah, that was nice, but like you need a fucking break. It is a lot to be going from place to place and to not have a home and to not have a place to ground and to have familiarity and build community. And I think that community is something that I'm really craving right now, too, as well. I think that it has been 9 months on the road. There's really no sense of community when you're traveling full time. And I really hope to find somewhere that I can start to build that up and start to have those connections with people, because it is something that I struggle with. And it's something that I want to work on and continue growing in. Like I want to grow within a community. I want to be a valued member of a community, and I need to release the expectation of you have to find one right now. You have to do this. You have to do all of the things, and just like really lean into just sit back and let the community come to you. The people will come, and the home will come, and the job will come, and the purpose and the potential will come forward for you. But you really, in order for it to come forward, you need to let it go. And that's a really hard thing to do, because I hold all of my hopes and dreams very close to my heart. And I am one of those people where I'm like, what's the point in living if it's not for dreaming? But I think that there's a fine line that you walk with that. And I think right now I'm really just learning to surrender it away, and to just lean into, okay, things are going to unfold around me, whether I like it or not. I might as well get a little floaty, get a margarita and float down the river versus like fucking flailing in the water and trying to swim up current against it. And that's where I'm at currently. And I think like just surrendering it to God. And that's another thing. I was really scared to say God, universe, energy, like all of that stuff, because I was afraid of being judged for being spiritual or woo-woo. And when I say God, I don't mean like religious, he, the God, almighty, king of all kings. That is not my flavor of spirituality. I think that for people where that is, the more power to them. I come from a family where that is their type of God, where they do practice their spirituality within a religion. But I am more the crystals, meditation, yoga, woo-woo type shit of spiritual. And I think that I've been trying to heal my God wound and the word God. I think that it's something that turns a lot of people off. It's something that really turned me off for a very long time, because I was raised in a very religious household. But when I say God, I mean the universe. I mean Mother Earth. I mean he, she, they, whoever that is. That is what I mean when I say God. And I think that really surrendering my purpose and my flow to God and to the universe is something that I've really been trying to practice and something that has been bringing me a lot of relief, because sometimes we really hold our expectations so heavy on our shoulders, like to the point that our back is breaking. Our back is breaking. And I really, girl, my spine is hurting. I really need to release this idea that I can control any of these outcomes and just surrender it to the universe. And I think that a part of that is me like saying that and sharing it on these video diaries too, because I was so scared to speak of my spiritual journey when I first started recording, because gosh, these bees are going crazy. Because I think that we're in a society now where it can be so easy to almost like ostracize someone because they are sharing their spiritual journey or they're speaking of God on camera. And I have this expectation of myself of how I'm going to present myself to the world. And in my process of becoming, spirituality is like one of the biggest things that is entwined with it. And I think that I would be inauthentic of not sharing that on here as I speak. And I do feel that like if I speak truly and authentically to like the beat of my own drum, my people will come. And so I need to like release that as well too. Release the fear that if I speak about like my spiritual side of things, everybody's going to hate me. So yeah, it feels freeing for me. And it's a huge like 360, 180, I don't know the saying, 360, I think, from where I was a month ago speaking in front of this camera and like almost tiptoeing around that aspect, when that aspect is like the biggest aspect of like my journey thus far. I'm going to speak about it on here, and if that's not for you, that's totally valid, and I completely respect that. Anyway, that was a little tangent, but again, it's a part of my process of becoming. It really is. Before the camera too, because again, I wouldn't have spoken about this a few months ago, but I have decided that come September we are going to stop traveling. We've found a little place in Washington State that we are going to stay in for like 4 to 6 months. Before we were in a new spot every single month, like every 3 to 4 weeks, we were moving to a new spot. And I am so excited. I don't think you understand. I'm like actually so fucking excited to just like be somewhere and to be someone somewhere. Because I feel like sometimes when you're traveling full time, it's like you just leave little breadcrumbs of yourself along the way. You're not really like rooting down anywhere, making real connections, because everything is so fast paced. And so I'm just so excited to like go to little coffee shops and like write my book in different little cafes and get to know the people there, and to get to know like my local like co-op grocery stores and farmers markets, and to hopefully start gaining a sense of community without having this expectation of I need to build a community once I get there. I think that it says a lot about like my YouTube channel too. I think that, you know, it's so fun to record and hope for a community to follow, but you have to let go of that expectation and just yap to yap. Yap to simply yap. And that is another like big lesson for me, I think, right now. Just letting go of this expectation for how I'm going to find community, and just know that it will come once I surrender it. And right now I'm just excited. I'm excited to sit before the camera and yap just to yap. And I'm excited to go somewhere that we can just like chill the fuck out for 4 to 6 months and experience the holidays for 4 to 6 months, because that's going to be around, you know, Christmas, Hanukkah, New Year's, Halloween, all of that. And I'm very excited to be able to just root somewhere. Just really root somewhere. I would feel like, what are those pigs that do like truffle hunting? Is that what they call it when they're like rooting the ground? Is it rooting? I don't know, but I'm gonna root the shit out of that ground. I really am. I just really need to have somewhere to decompress and relax and just return back to the home of my body. And so we have 3 more months of travel. So it's currently, God, when is it? It's June right now. So we have July and August that we're going to be traveling. So next video that you see me, I may be in Oregon. I'm not entirely sure if I'm going to have time to film another video before we leave for Oregon. I hope that I can. But yeah, we'll be in Oregon and that will be really fun. And then after that, Washington State. And I'm so excited. I'm very excited. Okay. Yeah, that's my video for today. It was very all over the place. I haven't filmed in a month, so I was like, I'm just going to come out here and not have a plan and just like really get back into the flow of this creative outlet that I have stumbled upon. So thank you for watching. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you made it to the end of this video, that's so fucking cool. I'm going to continue posting. I'm going to continue doing this, and that's a promise that I make not just to the camera before me, but to myself. So thank you for watching, and I hope that everybody has a beautiful day. All right, bye guys. Oh God, these bees are coming for my neck.